when we start and when we move on to the session, it would be easier to understand today's class, right? So it is very much important. Revision thing, I believe, is very much important. So it try to recapitulate the memories which you have previously, because you might be learning other subjects as well. So revision is very important. So basically, yesterday we have studied about the history, about a little brief history about mercantile law, how it has been evolved. Then scope of law of contract we have studied, as well as elements of law of contract we have studied, and what contract is we have studied, right? As well as essentials of contract also has been explained yesterday, right? If any question is there regarding all of these topics, you can ask me today as well, no issues, right? Now or after the class also. So today what I'm going to cover is two topics. We'll try to finish it off, right? The first topic is performance of contract, and the second topic is discharge of contract. A question definitely is going to come of any of two or both of them as a long answer. So kindly listen, make notes of both the topic properly, right? Because definitely this question is going to come. Performance of contract and discharge of contract. Regarding performance of contract, questions like what do you understand by performance of contract? Explain the law regarding the person by whom the contract must be performed. This type of question may come. Or question like tender is attempted performance. It may. Sudhir, you kindly mute yourself. Yeah, right. Tender is attempted performance. Explain. We will study about tender also, what tender is under performance of contract. Or a question like explain the term tender. What are the essentials of valid tender? State the effect of refusal to accept a tender, right? So questions like these may arise. So we will try to find out answer of all of this and try to understand the meaning of performance of contract in this class, right? So any of you can answer me. What do you understand by performance of contract? What do you understanding by this term, performance of contract? We learned about contract, that was agreement and enforceability. Agreement with enforceability, that is a contract. And today we are going to, ma'am, page number. Pavitra, I do not have the textbook which you people are referring. You people are referring the textbook provided by the university. Pavitra, say yes or no, bete. Are you referring the book provided by the university? Yeah, that's great. The book is very nice. I've seen, but right now I do not have the book. So I'll explain you in general what is performance of contract. Don't go word by word, because everybody is going to write the same answer which is written in your book, right? So try to gather knowledge from here and there as well. So that is my attempt as well. So try to jot down the points which I am going to explain today. Clear? You must be having a performance of contract in unit 1. You can find out in your book. So where were we? We were discussing about contract, right? So what was contract? It was agreement that is enforceable by law. But today we are going to see what performance of contract is, right? Performance means basically to do something, to perform something, right? And performance of contract here means, excuse me. Performance of a contract takes place when the parties to the contract fulfill their obligation arising under it within the time and in the manner prescribed in the contract. like two parties have made a contract. One is saying, I will sell you this product for so and so amount, and party B is saying, okay, I will purchase this product from you in so and so amount, and in this duration I will pay you. So this is an example of a general contract, a valid contract. So when performance will occur? When both the party will fulfill their obligation. Party A has to sell the product, whereas party B has to purchase and make the payment on time. In this case, when both the parties have done, like party A has sold and party B has purchased and make the payment, this will known as performance of contract, because this has been mentioned in the contract, in the terms of contract. We have mentioned this, right? Party A will do this, party B will do this in so and so time. Everybody has done their part. Everybody has fulfilled their obligation on their part. So we will call this act as performance of contract. That means contract has been fulfilled. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, again, there is one point. If according in your law of contract, in the section 37, what section 37 says about performance of contract, the parties to the contract must either perform or offer to perform their obligation, will also considered as performance of a contract. That means if you are fulfilling the obligation as well as you are offering to fulfill the obligation, will also known as performance of contract. What is the meaning of that? That means if you are actually doing it or you are offering, yes, I will do this, but the other party is saying, okay, they are thinking or replying like no, or they are refusing. So this will also known as performance of contract, because the party has attempted to perform the contract, perform their obligation. So this will known as, in clear terms, performance of contract. Now, again in section 37, it makes it very clear that a contract can be fulfilled in two ways. There are two ways of the fulfillment. The first thing is actual performance, and the second thing is attempted performance, right? Now, I want you to please note down these points, right? Take a pen and note down this. That contract can be fulfilled in two ways. The first one is actual performance, and the second one is attempted performance or an offer of performance or tender. These three terms are used for the second type, that is attempted performance, offer of performance, and tender. We will look into each one of them one by one and why they are called one and the same, the three one. If you are getting question, explain offer of performance, same answer. If they are asking attempted performance, same answer. If they are asking what is tender, same answer, right? We'll go through each one of them one by one. Now, coming to the very first thing, that is actual performance. Actual performance is when each party of a contract has fulfilled their obligation under the contract. It is termed as actual performance of the contract. Fine. I will read out an example. It will be clear you to understand it, right? A makes a contract to sell a horse to B for 50,000 rupees. A makes a contract to sell a horse to B for 50,000 rupees. If A delivers this horse to B at the appointed time and B accepts the horse and makes a payment of rupees 50,000 to A, both parties are fulfilling their obligation under the contract. So this is the example of actual performance. Do not forget to mention examples also in your examination for long answers, right? Make it very clear. Do not forget to mention examples. They are very important. In your textbooks also, you will get the examples. Now, I hope this one is clear, actual performance. Yes or no? What is actual performance? Tell me so that I can proceed. Pavitra, Priyanka, Sudhir. You listening? You people are listening or just have muted and turn off your camera and went for lunch?
No, ma'am.
Then, Priyanka, you got it?
No, ma'am. Once you explain.
Should I explain one more time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Priyanka,
Yes, ma'am.
you have, don't mute yourself, huh? Keep listening.
Okay.
You have made a contract with me
Yes, ma'am.
that you are having a book, right? And you
Okay.
want to sell that book to me.
Okay.
I have agreed to purchase that book from you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So tomorrow we will meet and you will make a payment of rupees 100 and I will collect the book and pay you rupees 100 by tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Now what happens tomorrow when tomorrow comes? What happened? I came to you or you came to me with the book. You gave me the book. I gave you rupees 100.
Yes, ma'am.
On the same day, the thing happened. So we made a contract. This is just example. This is just example. We have made a contract that I will sell, you will sell me the book. I will purchase on so and so day. We will do this. And we have done, right? We
Yes.
have done this. Now,
Yes.
this act will known as actual performance.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Pavitra, Sudhir, I hope I'm clear.
Yes, ma'am. May I know the definition of actual performance, ma'am?
And definition of actual performance. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
When each, do you want to write down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When each party of a contract, write down fast. When each party to a contract
Okay, ma'am.
has fulfilled his obligations
Okay.
under the contract. So,
okay, I'm done, ma'am.
you are done?
Yes,
Under the
ma'am.
contract, it is termed as actual performance of the contract, right? Example, you can write down anything, any.
Yeah, ma'am. I heard, ma'am. I heard.
Okay, fine. Now, coming to the second part, the second type. The second type, I have given you the three names, right? Remember, attempted performance, offer of performance, or tender, right? Three are there. Attempted performance, offer of performance, and tender. These three are one and the same. Fine. If they are asking anything, you have to answer the same thing, which I'm going to explain you. Now, listen properly. Sometimes it is so happens that the promisor offered to perform his obligation under the contract, but the promisee does not accept. Fine. This is known as attempted performance. I'll repeat again. Sometimes it so happens that the promisor offered to perform his obligation under the contract, but promisee does not accept. This is known as attempted performance or offer of performance or tender. Like I have given the example, the previous example, the same. Like Priyanka, and we have agreed that she will give me the book, I'll pay her 100 rupees. Now what happened? When the day came and we met, Priyanka said, okay, take this book and pay me rupees 100. So what I am saying, no, Priyanka is saying, yes, take the book and pay me the things, but I am not agreeing to it. I am saying anything, not today, I don't have money, maybe we'll do this some other day, or I don't want this book anymore, anything like that. But what happened over here? One party is saying, yes, let's do this, right? That is known as attempted performance or offer of performance or tender. One party is saying, let's do this, but the other party is saying or refusing to it. No, we'll do
Yes,
some
ma'am.
other time, or no, we'll not do this now, or I do not have money, I cannot fulfill this. So this is known as attempted performance, offer of performance, or tender, right? I hope I'm clear. Priyanka, got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now what tender is? A tender is not an actual performance. It is not an actual performance. It is only a proposal to perform the obligation under a contract. Got my point? What tender is? It is just a promise, or just a saying that we will do this. It is just a proposal like, let's do this, right? To complete the obligation. That is a tender, right? Clear? Okay, we'll move.
Clear, ma'am.
Okay. 1 minute. Now, listen to this, right? An example. P promises to deliver 60 bags of wheat to B. P send them to B at the appointed place during business hour through the specified carrier. But B refuses to take the delivery of the bag, right? This is an attempted performance or tender on the part of performance. Clear? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this was the example. You need to mention an example as well. Next one is, give the heading, types of tenders. Types of tenders. Basically, there are two types of tenders. One is tender of goods and services. And next one is tender of money. So the first one is where the promisor offered to deliver goods or services, but the promisee refused to accept the delivery is the tender of goods and services. Okay. And the second one is tender of money. Tender of money is where the promisor offered to pay the amount, but promisee refused to accept it. The same thing. Tender is what? Either goods or services or money. One party is giving the proposal that please accept it, but the other party is refusing. It may be for goods and services or it may be for money, right? So these are the two types of tender. Tender of goods and services and tender of money. Now, what are the essentials of valid tender? When do you call an performance as valid tender? What are the essentials of those? The very first thing is the tender must be unconditional. There should not be any added condition towards it. Fine, that is a valid tender. The tender must be unconditional. Next one is the tender must be whole quantity or the whole obligation, right? The tender must be the whole quantity or the whole obligation. It has to be done fully, completely. It not should be partially or substantially. No, it has to be fully, whole quantity or the whole obligation has to be fulfilled, must be met. Now, the next is the tender must be made at the proper time and place. It has time and place has to be appropriate for the tender, for a valid tender, right? Next one is reasonable opportunity has to be met, right? Next one is the tender must be made to proper person. It should not be like that you have made a contract with me, but coming and offering a tender to my brother or my sister or my father, anybody, right? So I am the concerned person. You have to come to the proper person, to the concerned person to give, to offer the tender, right? So these are the essentials of valid tender. 1 minute, please. Now, give the heading, by whom contract must be performed. By whom contract must be performed, or who can demand performance. Also write down, आपके syllabus में लिखा हुआ है, written the same thing. Who can demand performance? Give the heading, or person for the performance of contract. Who are these? We'll get to know one by one. These by whom contract must be performed are persons of performance. This come under section 40 to section 45 of the same act. The very first one is promisor. Write down, promisor. P-R-O-M-I-S-O-R, promisor. Who is a promisor? Promisor is the person who has made a certain promise. Well, the general rule says if the promise is of personal nature which require personal skill, then it has to be performed by the promisor himself. For an example, just listen to the example, it will be clear to you. A has confidence that B is a good artist. A is very much confident that B is a very good artist, and he contract to get a painting done by B. Fine. A makes a contract with B because A thinks that B is a very good painter, and he makes a contract with B for a certain price. A certain amount is being fixed. Here, the performance of the contract must be done by B himself and nobody else. Getting my point? Why? Because on what basis A has made the contract? That only B will make the painting, nobody else. So over here, promisor has to fulfill the obligation, right? He is the person of performance, right? He has to complete the obligation. The very first one, promisor. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, give the heading, second one. Agent. Agent. A-G-E-N-T. Now, who is the agent? If the promise made by the promiser is not of personal nature, then it can be performed by promiser's agent. It's like in the first case, jo painting tha, it has to be made by the same person, the exact person. But if a painting has not to be made, painting is just there for selling, anybody can sell it, right? An agent can also sell it because painting is already being made and just selling of the painting is done. So not me, anybody else can sell that on my behalf, right? So that is an agent on the promisor behalf, right? I'll quote one example also, listen carefully. If A promises to give a sum of money to B, if A promises to give a sum of money to B, it is not essential that he should personally give such amount to B. He can also ask his agent to give the money to B, like, right? It's just a matter that I have to pay somebody some money. On my behalf, I'm asking my agent, which is being mentioned in the contract. Yeah, provided agent has to be mentioned in the contract that on my behalf, if I'm not available, the agent will do so and so act on my behalf, right? Am I clear?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Right. Next one is legal representative. Legal representative. Take an example. If the promiser, if promiser dies or something happens ki he is not available in the country to perform the duty or perform the obligation, in this case their legal representatives are there to perform their obligations, right? If the responsibility of his legal so when, like, say if I have to perform my obligation, I'm not available over here, or if I dies, what happens, my legal representative will perform the promise of the contract, unless it is of personal nature. The first example, painting wala, right? If painting has to be made, I am only there to make it. Painting, if I'm not available, if I dies, then who is going to make it? In that case, the contract will go what? What happen if I dies?
Legal representative will.
Mm-hmm. What's the deal?
Legal representative will represent the contract, ma'am.
No. If I dies, what happen? If I have to make the pending, and if I dies, what happened to the contract? It will go void.
Yes, ma'am.
Remember
Yeah.
yesterday?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
If I'm not there, then what is there is no contract. The contract
Yes, ma'am.
goes void, right?
Void.
Okay. If I have to sell the painting, I'm not there. My legal representative is there. He will sell it to you. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
That is legal representative. I again give you an example. Listen carefully. If A promises to deliver goods to B for a certain price on a certain date, I repeat, if A promises to deliver goods to B for a certain price on a certain date and dies before that date, his representative or his legal representative is bound by law to deliver the goods to B, and the later is bound to pay the agreed price of goods to A's representative. Now, the very last line of this example, if A has died, on behalf of A, his legal representative have delivered the goods, right? Now, what happened over here is the party B is saying that A has died, you have made the delivery, but I'm not going to pay you. I was supposed to pay A only. No, B has to pay to the legal representative as he has taken delivery from A's legal representative. Okay? Clear? So that is the case of legal representative. Okay. Now, just a moment, please. Give me a minute. Now comes the third party. Next heading, fourth heading is third party. What third party is? Third party comes under section 41 of Indian contract. When a promisee accept performance of the promise from third person, he cannot afterward enforce it against a promiser, right? So that is the case of third party. You have agreed that you will collect or I will deliver this by the third party. So that will be done by the third party only. You will not ask me about it. Okay. That is third party, fourth heading. Next one is fifth one, joint promiser. Give the heading, joint promiser. Joint promisers are, along with me, I have others also who will fulfill the obligation. Fine. Like, it's like if I'm not available, if I die, so I have other promisers on my behalf, they will fulfill it. So that is known as joint promiser. We have all those things mentioned in the contract itself, right? These are the joint promises. If at all I'm not available, if I'm out of the country, out of the city, or if I'm anywhere, I'm not performing my obligation, these joint promises are there along with me who will perform the obligation similarly as I have to perform. So this is the case of joint promises, section 42. So these were the 5 people who are supposed to do what? These are supposed to do what? Tell me. Perform the
Contract.
Contracts.
perform the contract. So very important one, right? These 5 points. Now, who can demand performance? Give the headings. Next heading. Who are the people who can demand performance? Number one is promisee, to whom the promise is being made. That is the promisee. Next one is legal representative. Next is third party. And fourth one is joint promises. Joint promises. So these are the people who can demand the performance. So with this, we are done with our performance of contract topic. Just go through the side headings. If anything is not clear, please ask me now. I'll give you a moment.
Ma'am, in textbook, reciprocal promises is there. What is that?
Yeah, we will complete a reciprocal tomorrow.
Okay.
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 Today we are dealing with performance and discharge of contract only. Okay.
Okay.
Go through the notes which you have made right now. Side notes. If anything is not clear, please ask me. I'll give you 2 minutes. We'll start the next topic. Okay, I hope everything is clear. Now, our next topic is, give the heading discharge of contract. Give the heading discharge of contract. In the previous topic, we have studied about the performance of contract. That means the contract is being fulfilled. Whereas in this topic, we will talk about discharge of contract. That means when the contract is not being performed, the contract is being terminated. There is no contract now. It has gone all cancelled, right? So that is the meaning of the term discharge of contract. So basically, discharge of contract means termination of contractual relationships between the parties. A contract is said to be discharged when it ceases to operate. जब वो काम करना बंद कर दे कोई चीज. So that is discharge. That is when the rights and obligation created by it come to an end. That is discharge of contract. Performance of contract is completion and coming to end. Discharge is like in between, it is coming to end. So it is being cancelled, it has been terminated. So that is the meaning of discharge of contract. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now there are 6 types of discharge of contract. We will see one by one. Give the heading. First one, discharge by performance. Like discharge of performance, what it is. Performance means the doing of that which is required by the contract, right? Discharge by performance takes place when the parties to the contract fulfill their obligation arising under the contract within the time and in the manner prescribed. So in such a case, the parties are discharged and the contract comes to an end. So let's say if only one party performs the promise, he alone is discharged. Such a party get a right action against the other party who is guilty of breach. Like when we make a contract, there are two parties, you all know. Both the parties has to fulfill their obligation. If in case one party is fulfilling their obligation, whereas the other one is not fulfilling, so they can take legal action against the other party. Fine. Now, so that is discharge by performance. Let's just give me a moment. I need to check my slide. Yeah, give the next heading, discharge by agreement or consent. The next heading is discharge by agreement or consent. So as it is the agreement of the parties which binds them, so by their future agreement or consent, the contract may be terminated. It's like we have made an agreement that further we are not going to do this, further we are not going to proceed this. We have made an agreement, so the contract is coming to an end. It is terminated. That is discharged by agreement or by consent of both the parties. Okay. Nobody is defaulter over here. By mutual agreement, we are doing this. Fine. Now, discharge of contract, there are types of discharge by agreement or under discharge of agreement or consent. We have 6 types. Okay. What are these 6 types? We will see one by one. Give the heading. The first one is novation. 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 What novation is and when it takes place? It takes place when a new contract is substituted for an existing one between the same parties, or a contract between two parties is cancelled in consideration of new contract. That means we have party A and party B have made some contract, and by mutual agreement, we are substituting that contract and making a new contract. So in this case, contract will be discharged, and this case will be known as novation. Novation. That means the whole of the contract is being substituted with a different contract. Okay, clear? Now, second type under that is alteration. 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 What alteration is? Alteration of a contract may take place when one or more of the term of the contract is or are altered by mutual consent of the parties of the contract. What happened in novation? Whole of the contract is being substituted. Whereas in alteration, few points, few terms of the contract are being altered or changed, right? Alteration का मतलब क्या होता है? कुछ figures इधर उधर कर देना, कुछ terms इधर उधर करके changes कर देना. So that is alteration. The whole of the things is not changing, just few terms, few legalities and few rules or few obligations are changing. So that is alteration. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next one is rescission. Rescission, write down the spelling, RESCISSION. What rescission is? Rescission of a contract takes place when the parties to a contract may decide that they will forget the contract and will not bring a new contract into existence to replace it. कैसे हुआ discharge? Why discharge has happened? Both the parties had said, okay, we will forget that. We will. No, we have not forget. We will forget that we have made any. Like I have promised you to give something, you have promised me to give something in back. But what happens? By mutual consent, we are saying, let's forget this. Let's not do this. Okay. That is recession. मतलब कुछ हुआ नहीं. There is no contract. Let's say there was no contract between us. Okay. It's not about कि भूल गए या we forgot. We will forget. हम भूल जाएंगे कि हमने कुछ किया ऐसा. Right? That is rescission. Okay. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
1 minute. Next one is remission. 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 Remission means acceptance of a lesser fulfillment of the promise made. I'll repeat. Remission means acceptance of a lesser fulfillment of the promise made. Acceptance of a lesser sum than what was contracted for in discharge of the whole debt, right? So that is remission. कि पूरा नहीं, mutually we have agreed, okay, ठीक है, you have paid me this much, okay, that is okay. Or you were supposed to provide me so and so services, you have provided me that, okay, that's okay, and the contract is being discharged now. We are good with that, okay. The actual things are not being delivered. Even then, the both parties are equal, mutually understanding each other, and they are discharging the contract, okay. That is remission. Remission. Next one is waiver. Next is waiver. Waiver is like, okay, you were supposed, like A and B have made any contract and there was certain amount has to be paid by one party for the services or the goods purchased. So the party B is saying, no, so the party A is demanding certain amount of money when they have made the contract, but later on they said, okay, I'll give you a discount of like say 10% and you can deduct the amount and pay me the rest. So this reduction, this discount will be known as the waiver, right? So later on they have discussed, or they on mutual understanding, they said, I'll give you this concession and you can pay me the amount and contract will be discharged. Okay. So that is waiver. WAIVER, waiver. So these were the types of discharge of performance. Any doubt with anything? No doubts? Now give the heading discharge by breach of contract. Discharge by breach of contract. What does it mean? It means breaching of contract means a breaking of obligation which a contract imposes. Like we have made a condition that we will not do this. In this contract, while we are in this contract, we will not do this certain thing, we will not do this. But what happens? We did. So when we did the promised things which we were not supposed to do, in this case, the discharge will happen by breach of contract. मतलब हमने contract तोड़ के या contract खत्म करके we have done that. Because of that, the contract is getting discharged. I'll repeat. Breach of contract means breaking of the obligation which a contract imposes. If contract says party A will not do this, but what happens? Party A did that. So in this case, what happened? Breach of contract happened, and ultimately discharge of performance will be there, right? Sorry, discharge of contract will be there. So what happens here? It occurs when a party to the contract without lawful excuse does not fulfill their contractual obligation, or by their own act make it impossible that he should perform his obligation under it. So that is discharged by breach of contract. Now again, breach of contract are of two types. Breach of contract are of two types. One is actual breach of contract, right? Actual breach of contract. And the next one is anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. Actual breach of contract is like, actually I am performing which I am not supposed to do. I am breaching the contract. Whereas anticipatory is, I am telling you I will do this in future, I will do this. So because of that, the contract is being breached. So that is anticipatory breach of contract. Okay, am I clear? Can you tell me the meaning of novation we have learned just now? Anybody? Tell me the
it takes place when a new contract takes place on behalf of previous contract.
Very good, Supriya. On place of, it is being substituted on behalf of
Yes,
the
contract which was made previously, the whole contract will be changed, ma'am.
okay. Yeah, correct. I'll ask some quick questions to you. Just give me a moment, please. Okay? So that was novation. Tell me what it is, what I'm trying to say. An agreement which becomes impossible to perform under various circumstances will be known as an agreement which becomes impossible to perform under various circumstances will be known as tell me. Just now we have discussed about it from yesterday's class. Pavitra, I'm not speaking today, not answering. Yeah, tell me. Any agreement which becomes impossible to perform under various circumstances will be void. Will be void. Remember this. Okay, I'm giving an example. Tell me what it is, right? If A lends rupees 500 to B, if A lends 500 rupees to B, A ने 500 रुपए B को दिए. He later tells B that he need not repay the amount. The contract discharged by, मान लीजिए, I have given you 500 rupees. And what you are supposed to do? You have to return me, right? That 500 rupees in certain period of time. But I'm saying there is no need to repay this 500 rupees. That is okay. Now, what is happening over here? How the contract is being discharged? What happened here? What is the term used for it? I have given what?
Waiver.
Waiver.
Waiver, ma'am.
Very correct.
Okay.
I have given the waiver.
Yes.
Is there any question you need to ask? Yeah, somebody asked me about what? Pavitra or Priyanka, one topic you have told me. What was the topic? I told you we'll discuss tomorrow.
Reciprocal promises.
Reciprocal promises. Reciprocal. What is the meaning of the term reciprocal?
Reverse, ma'am.
Reverse. If I give you this, you give me this. Right?
Yes,
In
ma'am.
return, if I am taking some product from you, I will give you the money for it. Correct? Or do you have you heard about the barter system? पढ़ा है आप लोगों ने barter system?
Yes, ma'am. In exchange.
Make in exchange. Make in exchange of what?
Something goods or things.
Goods or things. I'm giving you lady finger, potato.
Yes, ma'am. In case of rice, clothes, something like that.
Anything. Previously, when we our what do we say, ancestors, there was no use of money. We used to do barter system. But
Yes,
this reciprocal promises are like opposite. Fine. I am giving you the money for the product which I am going to purchase from you. That is a reciprocal promise. So in return of the product and services which you are going to give me, I will give you this sum of money.
Money.
Right? That is reciprocal promise. Short answer may come on this reciprocal promise. Okay. Any other topic? Tell me. Any other thing to be discussed? कुछ आपको समझ में नहीं आया?
Ma'am, this constructive contract, ma'am. From yesterday's topic. Yes, ma'am. Constructive और quasi contract बोल के है उसमें वो explain करिए मैम.
कहाँ पे? First unit में बोल रहे हैं?
हाँ, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me check.
It comes under kinds of contract.
Let me check. Well, quasi contract and constructive, both are different. Quasi contract is a, what do we say, a long, lengthy topic to be covered. I'll just give you the gist of quasi contract, right? Take an example like you have you have gone to the market and purchased a fridge, right? You have made the payment, you have given the address, and what happened? The next day delivery has to be happening, right? What happened? The fridge has been delivered by mistake to the different address. Okay, so what happens over here? The person who is accepting the delivery, they keep it and use it. So that is known as quasi contract. The third party, which is
Okay,
not
okay.
here already. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah, got it. So that is quasi contract. I'll again explain this quasi and constructive contract in the next class. Clear. It will be more clear then, because as we just have 1 minute and the topic is like take 10-15 minutes, so we'll explain this tomorrow. Other than
Okay,
that,
ma'am.
I believe most of the things have been covered from first unit. If
Yes, ma'am.
anything is not there, please let me know by tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, almost things are covered. We'll try to start off our second block, that is indemnity and guarantee, law of bailment and pledge. Okay. Bye.
Okay, ma'am.
Try to read before some class. If you, Sudhi, do you have the book?
No, ma'am. Actually, I have soft copy with me. I'm managing in that.
You have the
From
soft
website, I have
copy.
downloaded. Yes,
Do you
yes, ma'am.
mind sending me the soft copy of the ebook?
No, ma'am. No.
I'll
I can
post,
send it, ma'am.
yeah, I'm posting my email address over here.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, kindly check. I need to check your things. Moment.
Okay, ma'am. I'll send it, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, we'll meet
Okay, ma'am.
tomorrow to discuss our block 2 and some other units. Have a great day. Keep studying, keep learning. Bye. Take care.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you.
you.